Cosmic Con Chapter 9 to Boldly Go Con. Today is the day we will be giving the 50 ships to General Cook. Roger's option to make the event dramatic was nil. Billy and Stella have been thinking about this event for a week, how to make it dramatic, and they're stuck. We cannot repledge them because the people were the best from the 100 ships having trained for the past months. They all know their ships, the new tech, and learned space tactics. Everybody knew their roles. All of the commanders start at Q1 base, a military planet base in the first quadrant 30 MLY from Earth. They also know about the Loonies because everyone gets to be assigned in Planet Olympus military base to learn about the Loonies and their alien federation. They were also assigned to Base Alpha, a training planet in the Loonie area. They also learned about the potential invasion and learned about the TAMs. That the TAMs were not the instigators of the war, but the SAMs, a different species, from a different galaxy. Roger wanted the trainees to mingle with the Loonies when they go around the planets looking as Loonies. This is to practice the idea of appearing as a different alien for infiltration purposes and to make sure no human military is obvious in the Loonie world. I was hoping the Loonies' way of life rubs off on the Olympus trainees. I spent several days on several occasions with the Space Armada in their ships near Earth, and I must say that Armada life is really boring. They have constant battle simulations that I found to be obviously staged. Still, the people performed like it was the real thing. As an outsider, I found them to be too staged, too fake, too alarmist. But I also noticed that the people were moving as if a camera was following them. Like they were performing in a reality show. Even the way they hold their plasma rifles look overacting. They pan their heads left and right even if we all know that nobody is really there. I conjectured that the Loonies affected their brains to think in practical joke terms, especially after spending the deployment in Olympus. It was really fun to watch them. Billy met the 50 commanders including Alan at his ship that he called Marjorie, after his wife. His AI was also named Lisa. We came over to provide their first mission. Billy wanted me to accompany the Armada in their first mission, but I wanted to be with my son more than anything else, so I declined. We met at Alan's ship reception hall. "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen," Matt started. "You have been training for more than 4 months now, and I believe you are very familiar with Armada life, your ships, and your comrades. We are here to send you off to your first mission. Before we do so, you will be using new ships with new capabilities. Your old ships will be assigned to another commander in training." Matt waved his hand and a hollow of a ship appeared. You probably do not see it because it's tucked in. Our science people with the help of the Loonies created this plasma cannon which is absolutely devastating. A hollow of the cannon appeared. You have a choice to load a metal, thermo, or regular plasma shot. It can fire 10 plasma shots per minute and will not overheat. We wanted the cannon to be double-barreled, but to do this was harder than we thought, so we settled for single barrel. On the plus side, each ship has 200 of these installed and AI controlled. This is not the best thing here. A hollow of a cannon within a large tube with wings and propulsion system appeared. This one, Matt pointed to the hollow with some drama. Think of this as our plasma artillery that we can just teleport anywhere. We call these RPC or remote plasma cannons. We can teleport these behind enemy formations, invisible, waiting for our order to engage. You can teleport them beside a ship and it will be a point-blank shot or shoot at other enemy ship from the enemy ship side, and they cannot shoot back to destroy the RPC because it's beside the enemy ship. And if you run out of shots, you can just blow the whole RPC up beside the ship and destroy the ship altogether. It can carry 1,000 round of plasma shots, various kinds, depending on the purpose. Each ship has 200 of these. We wanted more but production could not increase, so this is what you have for the moment. But we will increase them in the future. 3 drone holos appeared. This ship also carries up to 20,000 drones. Right now, you only have 1,000 per ship that people in the ship can control, or you can have the ship AI control these as well. This ship also has 50 of the new medium targeted teleportation modules and 10 heavy-duty ones. These heavy-duty ones can teleport a ship while the medium ones can move a house. Alan's commanders have come out with ways to weaponize these. A hollow of a sleek space attack ship appeared. We replaced our dogs with the ship design that we call Needles because of its pointed nose. This small opening here is your plasma cannon, smaller than the ship cannon but double-barreled. This ship has the capability to be invisible or not be invisible. The pilot controls this invisibility. Alan has come out with standard maneuvers that utilizes this invisibility capabilities. You just need to practice these where you appear and disappear while in the attack. This needle carries hundreds of EMP bombs or EBs, 24 small drones that you can deploy in front of you, and 60 small drone bombs that you can send out. These can also function as mines but will not detonate near our ships. The items appeared as Matt explained. We have also developed a new shielding system where your shields are multi-layer, and the direction of the shield forces are varied in each layer. Also, the layering distances between each layer was varied to add more protection. The bow has double the number of layers. The layer count depends on the power of the ship, which we doubled. A schematic of the ship shield appeared. There are many more human Loonie innovations and tech in this new ship, like scanning and communications, but I will just let Sherry explain these to you. The most important thing is how we use what we have and develop tactics and practices using these for our missions. Matt sat and Alan stood. A star map holo appeared. Our first mission is to fly to this galaxy 900 MLY from Earth, move around like this and investigate the life forms. We move invisible all the time. Remember that we will never reveal our capabilities, so we will always be underestimated. Along the way we drop off a large transport ship every 50 MLY near a planet, preferably the gaseous ones. These will be our TP and communications links to Q1 base. As we move around, we will also send out communication repeaters and scanners all over the place. Our mission also involves exploration, and we have 5 science ships in the science squad in the Armada. These are the same ships. It's just that they have a lot more science people and equipment. The science squad will be led by Colonel Sherry Mitchell. I have sent 10 scout ships yesterday and they will position themselves here. Several lights blinked in the star map. We have changed the name of the new ships to your present ships. We have also told your AI to port themselves over to the new ships. Once you and the AI port over, your old ships will be renamed by the new commander and create a new AI. We leave in a week. Billy stood as arranged. Alan, your Armada is the first Earth Armada group, and this is your first real exploration. To boldly go where no human has gone before. And you go armed to the teeth. He said the magic words. He actually asked Matt that he be the one to say this, and Matt agreed. You will not be going around alone. 24 of the Federation Armada ships, 1 per country, will accompany you. Their ships have the new shield but do not carry the plasma cannons, the new drones, the plasma artillery, the bombs and mines and all the other things you have. You will have to take in half of their personnel on rotating basis to get trained on the new toys. That includes you, Sherry. Roger spoke. In addition to the Federation ships, some Loonie commanders, personnel and scientists will be embedded in the ships so they can learn as part of their training. A loud groaning can be heard. Look guys, you have to give these Loonie some credit. We all know how boring Armada life can be. They will give your Armada lives more purpose. Remember, we are doing this to keep them safe, so if we can train these guys, they get to own their military destiny. The problem most Armada people see is that the Loonie penchant for practical jokes is contagious. It has infected Olympus almost completely. They know that in order to more effectively communicate anything to the Loonies, they would have to frame it or package it or communicate it as a practical joke. This is confusing sometimes. This is not the downside of it. The real downside of this is that the Loonies tend to communicate back to you in the form of a joke or practical joke. Alan refused to take in Loonie troops but relented when we told him it was part of our agreement in the treaty. Billy provided the solution. He would ask the Loonies to go only 1 or 2 at a time inside the human ships. Alan would then play a practical joke on those Loonies on board and after a day or so, send them back very happy to their own ship. The new guy comes in quickly. Of course, he indirectly communicated that this process is a practical joke the humans play on the Loonies, and the Loonies understand this. In the end, the Loonies learn nothing. I am really starting to believe Billy is really smart. Alan was concerned though that the Loonies would not learn anything, so he asked for volunteers of people who will get embedded in the Loonie ships. Surprisingly, a lot volunteered. He decided on sending the drone trainers first since he heard the Loonies were very good with piloting drones and crashing them. He also sent the party planners to set up parties for the humans as part of their weekly R&R rotation. Colonel Sherry Mitchell stood. I am going to talk about the science part of our journey. She paused and waited for the holos to complete. As you know, we are towing 50 large transport ships to place them at 50 MLY intervals to form the TP line. These ships will also act as our outposts, storage and research facilities. There will be a lot of civilian scientists, human and Loonie, that would be working in these ships. Their main concern is to study the area they are in. A small marine detail will be with them. They will have 10 RPCs, 20 drones and 2 dogs, no needles, 10 shuttles, and 100 spy drones. These ships will be invisible all the time. There will be a complement of Loonie warehouse, maintenance, and logistics crew to keep things up and up. The commanders laughed. Anything the Armada needs will be here in these ships. If not, the Loonies would have to send it through the TP line. The next day, Trio came to visit Earth. He came with his assistant Mixa. Joe provided them with the energy uniform so they could change into human form. We brought them to meet with Billy, Alan, Roger and Stella. We met at Billy's ship. Billy, they want to send some of their people with Alan's ships, mixed complement. Matt explained. Also, one of the riots, Larry, is thinking whether he wants to be on board your ship, Alan? I added. Are they also going to deploy in the TP ships? Alan asked. Yes, all scientists, maybe around 400 per TP ship, Matt answered. Do they have military personnel? Roger asked. Yes, they do, but very few, like 100 per ship. They are there to study our ways and technologies, Matt said. We have to tell you that their military is not like ours with a military mindset. Their military's doctrine is not to kill if at all possible. They would rather retreat than fight. They would rather leave their world than exterminate their enemies even if they can actually do so easily. Then we brought them to our house for dinner. Amy knew what kind of earth foods these Leos would like to eat and not die. For one, they like brandy and most things that are sweet. Olive made sure we have dozens of brandy and cognac choices. She also got the chocolate cake from Costco, which is super sweet. She surmised that the Leos would also love ice cream, so she bought a ton of these. You don't look like aliens, Mom said. Trio changed to his true form and Mom was surprised. Amy served ordinary steaks and everything else that is sweet. Even the steak sauce was sweet. The green beans, mashed potatoes, and asparagus were sweet. Amy showed the Leos how to eat the steaks and the greens and they liked it a lot. They indicated that they wanted to eat more steaks, so I told Olive to steal some cooked steaks from steak restaurants but leave money for these. Olive was quick and appeared as a server with several steaks. This steak is better than the one I just ate, Mixa commented. That was her third steak, and she got another one, this time a filet mignon. This is softer than this one. Chris explained that the steaks come from an earth animal we call cattle. Olive provided a hollow of a Japanese Wagyu animal. We can give some to you to take home, she added. Then Amy served the ice cream, and their happiness was obvious. She explained how the ice cream was made and that it came from the milk of cows. Again, Olive showed a fat cow. We would like to bring home some of these ice cream in addition to the steaks, Trio said. How much ice cream and steak meats do you want to bring home? I asked. Can you fill our ship with it? Trio asked. When do you plan to leave? I asked. In one day, Mixa said. How about this one? We call this brandy. Matt opened a bottle of brandy and poured a big one in a large glass, larger than a brandy glass. Trio tasted it and immediately drank all of it. This is the best. Absolutely amazing liquid. Mixa was fast. This is absolutely to die for. Can you fill my ship with this brandy? Wait, how about this? Olive poured the cognac on their now empty glasses. This is even better. I want you to fill my ship with this too, Trio said. You know it's not easy to get enough of the brandy and cognac to fill your ship. Why don't you give me a week and I will send a transport ship full of these and another transport ship full of the meats. Matt offered and I explained that the meat had to be cooked and also explained how to cook the meat. It was entirely foreign to them because they never cook their food. They just order their machines to give them the food they need. And these taste almost the same, sweet. And you haven't tasted dessert yet? Amy exclaimed. Olive gave the slices of chocolate cake, and both were in heaven. The cake seemed to have awakened senses they never knew existed. They became emotional and almost crying. This is impossible. How is it that you have this miraculous food? Nobody attempted to explain how it was made. We will provide you with a ship full of these steaks, brandy, cognac, ice cream, cakes and similar products in a week. But I will try to get you some before you leave, Olive said. Trio nodded and I think I saw his eyes teary. I looked at Mixa and she also had a tear, about to fall. I know they were an emotional and dramatic species, but this is too emotional even for me. I felt my wife happy. Her planning worked out really well. When the Leos left, while we were relaxing in Mom's living room, do you know that the Leos have no concept of money and trade? Matt asked me. He continued, they do not have money. Basically, everything they need is provided to them. That is why they look so poor on the surface. No houses, farms or buildings. You're saying that whatever we send them would all be free? Yes. We will never get paid. That is why they have no concept of negotiation. I guess that's fine. The ships we got from them would be enough, I said. What we will do is to teach them how to raise cows, make milk and ice cream, grow sugar and grapes, and make brandy, Amy said. I am sure they would be so receptive to this idea, I said. Not receptive. Excited, Amy corrected. We are going to turn a highly advanced society back into farming, I said. You know what I like to know about this Leos? Chris looked at Amy. What kind of art do they have? Amy said. Yes. Because if they are emotional as we just saw them to be, they must express this emotion in some form of art. Chris said. Just ask Trio to bring you with them when they leave, Matt suggested. Olive, tell Trio I will be going with them tomorrow, Chris said. Olive disagreed. I would suggest you take one of the unused ships so you can come back any time you like without depending on the Leos for transport. I will install myself in one of the ships now. While you're at it, Olive, I want Tina to go over to the Leo's planet and see how we can deliver what we talked about, Matt said. Olive stood for a while. Tina is busy, but she will send one of her deputies, Olive said. The next day, Chris went to one of the unused ships that Olive wanted to use. Olive teleported her supplies and equipment so she could work and may need to show the Leos her art. Olive also made her wear the energy uniform on top of her torn jeans and hoodie. Chris set up an easel and she continued to work on a painting. Hello, a woman greeted. Chris was surprised but realized she must be Tina's assistant. Hi, I'm Chris. You must be Tina's assistant? Chris extended her hand. I'm Michelle Grant. You're working? Michelle was a 30-something lady. Professional and formal. Yes, just can't stop and I am not about to walk around the ship. Can I walk around? Sure. Olive accompanied her. Olive appeared. This is Olive, the ship AI, she can tour you around. Don't take too long. We'll be there in less than 30 minutes. In less than 20 minutes, Michelle and Olive walked back. How was your tour? This ship is huge but empty. Yes, it's not being used for anything. Olive wanted to use it for my trip because it's just sitting there. Mo appeared as Mo. Hi Chris. Welcome to Reno, the Leo colony main planet. Chris hugged Mo. Chris introduced Mo to Michelle and explained what Matt and the gang talked about. She explained what Michelle needed to do. I can help with that. But you have to introduce only flora and fauna that will not kill them. And as long as it's sweet, Mo said. So how are you doing? What's up with you? Chris said as she held Mo's shoulders while walking. I've been busy. The Leos are studying me. But we have not yet reached the point where they are studying how to kill me. They are learning a lot. Now they are learning how to be telekinetic. I gave them mind exercises and techniques to expand their minds and they love it. Why don't you just go in and do it? I'm not telling. I think it would be more enjoyable for them if I don't just do it. Olive told me you're here to study their art? Yes, for such an emotional species they must have some form of art or media to express these emotions. Funny you should think that in their case. The answer is they don't. What do you mean, they don't? They do not express their emotions. In fact, they are suppressing it because they believe expressing their emotions will slow their progress towards becoming a being like me. You would have to explain that it does not mess up their progress and in fact enhances and advances it. Explain to them that it was art that helped your species progress to become what you are now. Well, now that you're here we can do that together. I am glad that you're here. I think we form a good team, Mo. Yes, we do. Come, let's go down. I will show you around. Mo toured them underground. Mo showed several labs and projects the Leos were working on. They found themselves on an invisible building floating on top of a lake. Olive provided some refreshments, lemonade and cut fruits, that she brought in the ship. This place is amazing, Michelle commented. It's barren outside but underground it's amazing. Mo started. I think that teaching them how to farm may not be a good idea. You may have to bring in a lot of the stuff maybe for a year. Until they develop the machines to create those foods. They do not want imperfect food. They want the perfect sweetness range that their people will enjoy. The problem is that they do not have money to pay us. Trade is foreign to them. That's easy, just barter. They understand cause and effect. Like you, when you find out that you can help them with their art, you now have a purpose. What do you get out of this? They will not pay you. Fine, you're happy to help because that's who you are. They will offer something to you that they have that they think will reward you for your work. But that's not you. You don't care about money. Well, because you have a lot of it already but because you are an artist. Once they understand this, they will understand art. And this understanding makes them progress towards their goal of being like me. That's a run-around way of thinking. But I understand. I will definitely enjoy myself here. Wait, if they cannot pay for anything, trade cannot start. We cannot provide them the things they need because they cannot pay us. Michelle conjectured. How many Leos are there in the 3 planets? Chris asked. 140 million more or less. I think it's doable, Chris said. Olive, I agree Chris. We can budget around $10 trillion a year for their food and beverages. What would you want in return? Mo asked. The technology they developed making the food, Chris said. Chris, it's how you explain it to them. First you apologize that you introduced the food to them when you ate dinner. And in this dinner trio and Mixa asked for these foods. But you know they will never pay you for this. But you do this anyway because you want them to be happy. Tell them that Mo here will help you develop your technology to produce the perfect food and sweetness and best cognac that will make your people happy. Then simply tell them it will make you happy if they share the tech to you. Mo, if you saw their emotional reaction, you can ask them for anything. They were practically crying. Like all the emotions that they were holding for thousands of years are bursting uncontrollably, now it's out in the open. They don't want to cry but they were crying. Plus of course when you teach them art and how to express their emotions using your media, they will look at you like a god. Mo said. Chris turned to Michelle. Michelle, I want you to gather 1,000 art teachers in the various media and bring them over. Olive, bring her home and help her get the teachers. Offer them 5 times their salaries. Tell Matt to start sending the food and drinks. Also to look for farmers to teach them how to grow the plants and animals we need for their food. Chris, sometimes I wonder, Mo said. Mo, it's art. You look at the scene, connected, colorful and evolving. Now you think, what kind of brush will I use, what pigments will I use, what final colors do I want to see? Once you get the feeling, just do it. No fanfare needed. Directly and quickly put the color onto the canvas. See if what you saw is now what you see. Cause and effect? Or effect and cause? Mo said. And Olive, make sure to bring tons of weed and mushrooms not only for me and the artists but also for the Leos. Yes, Chris. Olive confirmed. Back at the ship. Are they a couple? Michelle asked. Why would you say that? Olive countered. They seem to click really well. They seem to know what the other is saying before they even say it. No, they are just good friends who have worked together in the past, Olive said. A day before Alan's armada is about to leave. Alan's armada was near Mars. Alan was sitting on the captain's chair in the bridge of his ship Endeavour. Beside him on his left stood his ship AI named Lisa, who looked like a famous British movie star. There was a holo of Colonel Sherry Mitchell, his science officer, on his left and Colonel Julio Rivera, his second in command, on his right. Alan, 24 Federation ships under Admiral Anderson has arrived, Lisa said and showed a holo of the 24 ships forming a box formation. The Loonies will be here with 10 ships and 100 transport ships, 50 of which will be deployed as TP ships. The other 50, besides the usual supplies, are just empty storage ships but has 2,000 Loonie personnel. Are you kidding me? Julio shouted. That's the plan? Sherry smiled. The Leos will be here with 100 ships and 2,000 personnel per ship, half military, half civilian. They are bringing a lot of food. I think somebody did not get the memo about this trip. Alan sighed. Admiral Soren Anderson appeared, saluted and, General Cook, this is my first officer, Captain Sebastian Bautista. Bautista saluted as well. Alan thought that nobody ever salutes to him in his ship and he is beginning to like Soren. Alan, do you like me to salute to you? Lisa asked. Sherry and Julio looked at Alan, questioning. The next day, 284 ships and almost 600,000 personnel left Mars orbit.